Hi everybody, thanks for hopping on for another video in the sunflower series. Wanted to talk a little bit tonight about how to direct seed sunflowers. I know in my last few videos we talked a lot about how I start some inside, but I also do start some outside. And sunflowers really do want to be started outside. That's what they need the most, and that is how they do the best. But if you have a lot of critter pressure in your area, that might not be an option for you. But if you don't have the option of starting inside, I have a trick that you can try this summer, and that is using burlap on top of your seeds when you get them in the ground. So when you're using burlap, couple things to keep in mind. One, I just bought mine off of Amazon in a big roll, and then I would just cut it in strips the size that I would need to cover where I seeded. And after I seeded, I would water really well, and then I would lay that burlap on top, and then I would water on top of the burlap, and then I would do that every day, the watering underneath and on top until the seeds germinated. I had good luck at some points in the summer and different points of the garden using this. The birds weren't able to get down to the seed. At the end of the summer, Rocky Raccoon found out about what was underneath that burlap, and he just tossed that into the wind and ate pretty much all of the seeds. So if I'm going to do the burlap again this year, I am going to use landscaping stakes to try to anchor that to the ground and see if Rocky can get to those or not. It's worth a shot. A couple of things to keep in mind about the size of sunflowers. So you can actually control the size of your sunflower blooms. And so I experimented with this a little bit last year. I planted some that were further apart, maybe 8 or 9 inches apart. Those will typically produce big blooms. And then I would also plant some that were 4 inches apart, maybe even a little bit less than that. And those create smaller blooms. So sunflowers are really competitive in nature. So they're going to compete for nutrients, water, and space. So if they have more space, they're not going to compete so much, and they are going to be bigger. But if you push them closer together, they're going to produce a smaller bloom. So I think what was really nice about having a mix of the big and small blooms was when it came to creating bouquets. So I actually found that I preferred a smaller bloom. The bigger blooms were actually, I found, to be challenging to incorporate into a bouquet. I really liked those small ones. They were really nice as like a secondary focal flower. So you can do a mix.